Chobe, life is measured in the crushing pressure of ivory against bone and the desperate fleeting seconds. A 6-ton bull elephant stands at the precipice of a mortal confrontation, his sheer mass a wall of unyielding instinct. Thick collagen skin and specialized muscular leverage provide African bull elephant with remarkable evolutionary defense against apex strikes. Will his ivory armor hold, or will the pride break him? Act 1. The Chobe Savanna is not merely a place, it is a crucible of evolution. Here the sun dictates the rhythm of life, bleaching the earth into a mosaic of cracked clay and desiccated scrub. An uneasy calm settles over savanna as invisible territorial boundaries are established between two formidable wildlife forces. Standing at nearly 4 meters at the shoulder, he is a living monolith of biology. The survival instincts of African bull elephant flare instantly as chemical alarm signals ripple through the surrounding arid biome. His skin, a thick protective armor of gray, is etched with the history of decades, deep vertical furrows that channel moisture. His tusks, curved instruments of ivory, are worn smooth at the tips, evidence of a lifetime spent navigating this unforgiving. He moves with a deceptive silence, his massive padded feet absorbing the impact of his 6-ton weight, allowing him to. Unbroken vigilance defines the daily routine of African bull elephant, where a split-second delay in reaction can prove fatal. He is the sovereign of this northern sector, his presence alone enough to discourage lesser creatures. Yet the Chobe is never truly at peace. Resource scarcity has pushed every inhabitant to the limit of their endurance. The bull elephant knows this. His trunk, a marvel of neurological complexity, continuously samples the air, tasting the volatile chemical. Tension mounts across the open ground as both formidable adversaries lock eyes in an intense, high-stakes standoff. He is monitoring his borders, sensing the subtle shifts in the wind that carry the scent of intruders. He stands atop a weathered granite outcrop, a vantage point that grants him command over a 45-meter radius. Every muscle in his massive frame is coiled, ready to react, his ocular systems tracking the horizon for any deviation. The pride fans out, seeking a tactical advantage in the dry riverbed. Act 2. The air changes. A subtle shift in the olfactory landscape alerts the bull to a change in the status quo. From the western perimeter, 12 silhouettes emerge, a pride of lions, the apex rivals of the Chobe. They move with fluid, predatory grace, their tawny coats blending seamlessly with the dry grasses. The tactical standoff reaches boiling point as both rival forces prepare for explosive forward acceleration. They are a collective force, a bay of 12, operating in a synchronized lethal dance. bull elephant perceives them instantly. Holding a rigid defensive stance, African bull elephant refuses to yield an inch of its contested territorial domain. In this critical pre-strike phase, evolutionary adaptations dictate every microsecond of tactical posturing. The pride is calculated, measuring their approach. Black-Maned Serengeti Lion tighten the encirclement, closing the final separation gap across the arid battleground. They are not merely hungry, they are testing the boundaries of the sovereign. The tension is palpable. The lions fan out, attempting to exploit the topography, seeking a tactical advantage in the depressions of the dry riverbed. Low, resonant growls vibrate across the stones as the safety margin shrinks to a mere few meters of clearance. The bull responds, his movements deliberate and imposing. He issues a low-frequency rumble, a sound that vibrates through the very topsoil, a declaration of territorial intolerance that transcends mere. It is a biological ultimatum. The pride pauses, their yellow eyes locked onto the bull's massive form. Explosive acceleration unleashes maximum kinetic collision as African bull elephant clashes with unyielding power against Black-Maned Serengeti Lion. They are measuring his biomechanical leverage, waiting for a sign of weakness, a moment of hesitation. The threshold is breached. A sudden, aggressive charge by the lead lioness shatters the silence. The collision is thunderous. Claws find purchase in the thick, leathery folds of the giant's hide. The bull reacts with explosive force, his 6-ton frame surging forward. The lions are circling, their muscles bunching with potential kinetic energy, while the bull remains an immovable object, his tusks. Act 3. The threshold is breached. A sudden, aggressive charge by the lead lioness shatters the silence of the Chobe. A decisive counterstrike shifts the center of gravity in a split-second exchange of evolutionary dominance. Overwhelming physical resolve enforces territorial boundaries, turning back the rival assault line with relentless force. The collision is thunderous, a meeting of primal forces that sends dust billowing into the air. The pride, however, is not deterred. They swarm, their tactics designed to overwhelm through sheer numbers and persistent bone-crushing jaw pressure. Crushing strike force tests the physical limits of organic defenses as muscles strain under severe biological pressure. The combat is multi-wave. As one lion is repelled, two more move to flank the bull's rear, their claws seeking. Both combatants execute high-torque wrestling maneuvers, testing jaw strength and claw leverage against the raw earth. The bull's strength is immense, but the lions are agile, their high-torque wrestling pushing the elephant's endurance to the absolute. He performs a massive rotational twist, his center of gravity shifting to crush a lunging attacker beneath his forelimb. The substrate churns as they grapple, a chaotic dance of muscle, tooth, and ivory. Massive rotational torque strains balance centers, while both predators contest every inch of the arid terrain. The bull is a whirlwind of defense, his massive head swinging, his ears acting as shields against the pride's reach. The pressure on his joints is immense, but his biological resilience is unmatched. The contested clearance collapses in an explosive burst of momentum as sharp fangs and powerful claws collide violently. The exchange is a blur of kinetic impact, jaw pressure, and desperate rhythmic respiration. Overwhelming physical resolve enforces territorial boundaries, turning back the rival assault line with relentless force. The roar of the battle fades into the heavy, humid air of the late afternoon.
Stay back, beast.
The lions, realizing the futility of a direct assault against such a formidable adversary, begin to lose their cohesion. Act 4. The roar of the battle fades into the heavy, humid air of the late afternoon. Absorbing the critical kinetic impact, African bull elephant maneuvers with agile leverage to re-establish its sovereign defensive line. The bull elephant stands alone on the plain, his breathing deep and ragged, a rhythmic testament to the exertion His hide is marked with shallow claw scores, but his integrity remains intact. The pride has vanished into the northern horizon, their retreat a silent acknowledgement of the bull's absolute dominion. He remains vigilant, his eyes scanning the distance where the challengers have faded into the golden haze. Heavy respiratory panting settles into steady recovery respiration as sovereign equilibrium returns to Savannah. The sun begins to dip below the horizon, casting long amber rays across the weathered boulder fields. The Chobe is quiet once more, the natural balance restored. The bull elephant takes a slow, deliberate step, his presence reclaiming the territory that was briefly contested. The immediate lethal danger recedes as Black-Maned Serengeti Lion retreat beyond the outer visual boundary of the territory. As twilight descends, the bull rests, his form a dark silhouette against the vast, darkening sky. Dusk settles across the vast plains, sealing another unyielding chapter in the ancient chronicle of wildlife survival. The order of the Chobe is absolute, governed by the immutable laws of strength and survival. Another day has passed, and the monarch remains, his sovereign power unbroken, his place in the history of this wilderness.